All right. Good morning. Welcome to the March 7th press conference, our first press conference in March. I have to admit, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I kind of got lost a little bit this morning. It has been such a beautiful weekend. I hope all of you got out there to enjoy it. It was amazing. Couldn't ask for a better weekend. Had a chance. I was out in my yard a little bit this morning looking at the flowers. It's unbelievable. The azaleas are unbelievable. Even my lemon tree is sprouting all over the place, which is great. But anyways, I felt like I needed to wear green since it is March and it's starting to get that way. I think Pensacola always looks great in the spring and the change of seasons. Couldn't have been a better weekend. I know people are out there getting to the beach, getting on the water some. It's hard to believe that somebody said it's going to be 36 this on Saturday, so I still can't believe that. But anyways, it certainly has been an incredible weekend. This past weekend, it was great to have that during the Sun Belt Conference. Look forward to their championship game tonight, so very excited about them. I see also, I just wanted to make mention, we have our Interim Parks and Rec Director, Adrian Stills. Adrian, thank you for being here. Thank you for stepping up. I'm sure Osceola looks as amazing as everything else does at this time of year. So I'm sure it looks good. But now you're not just Osceola, but all of our Parks and Rec, and they all look amazing, and it's just great to see. I did want to start off by saying that we are certainly in empathy with our friends to the east of us in Bay County that are experiencing their wildfires. We are standing by if needed. Mutual aid, our prayers and thoughts are certainly with them as they continue to go through this. Hopefully, though, this week with the bringing of some rain is going to cure those problems for them and make it easier for them to put that out and extinguish that. So we certainly have stood with them if requested. We were ready to do stuff. We've been waiting for the request, but we certainly appreciate that. A couple of things that have been going on. We had a proclamation recognizing March as Developmental Disabilities Awareness. I was so happy to have people from Art Gateway and some of their homes. They have a number of homes where citizens can live independently in homes throughout the city of Pensacola. I've had the opportunity to visit some of these. I was very glad to have some of their citizens who are working diligently. One of which I know they do a very good job at sorting and reselling Mardi Gras beads. So if you have beads, take them to Art Gateway. They do an amazing job there. I talked to a lady who works with them on the bead sorting. So certainly enjoyed getting to see them and having that proclamation. Also, Friday, we recognize March as Florida Bike Month. Obviously, Cyclavia will be happening here at the end of the very last weekend in March. We look forward to kind of closing down some of the roads, certainly Bayfront, Main Street, Palafox, to vehicular traffic and allowing people to experience those by bicycle and pedestrian, and feel free to roam. So we certainly are trying to do a lot of those things to accomplish things that make it better for us to be a more walkable, a safer community. We certainly look forward to recognizing Florida Bike Month. And I understand National Bike Month will be coming up in May, and they told me they want me to ride my bike back to work. So I'm looking forward to doing that again as well. Got to get in training for that. But again, a lot of great things happening. As far as a couple of other things that have happened as we go forward, the mayor's cleanup, neighborhood cleanup, collected 60 tons of bulk waste. Not this past weekend, the week before the February mayor's cleanup. Collected over 60 tons of bulk waste, along with 119 tires and 1,807 gallons of paint. The cleanup took place on Saturday, February 26th and 27th in East Pensacola Heights. The neighborhood cleanups allow residents to leave eligible items on the curb with cleanup to be picked up. We are looking forward to our next one being on that Saturday, March 26th. For more information and to view the 2022 neighborhood cleanup schedule, visit cityofpensacola.com. The city is also happy to have some new assistants with us. We are excited to welcome Meredith Reeves as a new assistant housing director, and James Cook as our new Public Works and Facilities Deputy Director of Operations. So I see Amy back there. I know We're excited to get James here from Santa Rosa County, and I think he's going to do an excellent job. She's already making fist pump back there. She's very excited. So it is unbelievable how many projects we are doing right now. When I meet with David and see what's going on, it is unbelievable the amount of projects that we've got going on right now, and Amy and her team are overseeing that. So I'm sure we've got James there to make sure these projects are continuing to get done and things are happening. So really appreciate having him on there. Meredith joins us from Escambia County. I certainly worked with her for a long time in housing. Excited to have her. I think she will bring an awful lot of insight, things that she's done in housing for the county and helping us in Marcy's team. We hope to, by late this month, 1st of April, have some housing new program plan in place to bring to council. And David is nodding there, yes. With Meredith in place and really a full team over there at housing, we're ready to get started on some things that we think we can begin to do to assist in trying to help with housing supply that can hopefully push down housing prices. We have a public hearing on the City of Pensacola HUD annual plan is March 14th. The city will host a public hearing on Monday, March 14th at 4:30 concerning the development of our 2022-23 annual action plan for the community development block grant. The hearing will take place at Hagler Mason Room located on the second floor of City Hall right here in this room. So we hope people will be able to attend that. The city has hosted this meeting to give citizens the opportunity to provide input and recommendations regarding housing and community development needs and goals and objectives, and to support the priorities identified through the 2020 through 2024 consolidated plan. Public will input and assist and with planning and utilization of the city's community development block grants program. So again, written comments will also be accepted. If you would like to submit those, you can learn more at cityofpensacola.com. We have council meetings this week, both today in this room. We will have the agenda review followed by the CRA, and then Thursday we will have our regular council meeting. COVID numbers continue to be trending in the right direction. The week of February 24th through March 3rd, we had a positivity rate of 3%, which is really where we want to be, below that 5%. The week before that, the third week in February, we were at 7.1%. So to be now at 3% is certainly looking good, and we're continue to go in the right directions. Once we got below 50 hospitalizations, we have dropped our dashboard. However, we will pick it back up if we see something continuing in that effort. We can stay close to all 3 hospitals and are working with them. And by the way, we've certainly had some milestones. We talked about Baptist, but obviously West Florida having the significant change in their name with HCA and their anniversary there. Even though their main campus is not in the city, they do have satellite facilities that are in the city, and we were happy to be a part of that last week as well. I will also remind you there will be no press conference next week. I will be hiking in the mountains of California, so enjoy my time there. So hopefully you'll be enjoying something and doing something better here as well. So look forward to that, and we will catch you back up on the 21st. We'll be back for a press conference, but I'm now open to answer any of your questions. John.
Good morning, Mayor. There's an agenda item at the review today seeking a council resolution to join the city of Crestview and asking the Public Service Commission for a rehearing on the Florida Power and Light Gulf Power transition. Are you going to support that?
The council president and I put that on there and put that on there for this week to come forward. So I mean, yeah, I think that's something. We certainly understand the challenges with the rates. We know we don't control the rates. We've been trying to explain how this works, but we certainly look forward to petitioning. And I'd talked with council president last Monday and said, absolutely, let's put this on there and get that on there as fast as possible. I think it's timely and it needs to be done, so we certainly support that.
Have you talked to our delegation about the possibility of this happening?
I haven't talked to the delegation specifically about this item, but I have talked to delegation about issues related to rates and obviously the challenges that we're all experiencing. So certainly those are things that I have communicated, and the state is one of the ones that's in charge of those things. City of Pensacola is not. So yes, and I think certainly what's coming before us, I wholeheartedly support, and it asks for the council vote and the council president and the mayor to sign jointly. So, Councilwoman Hill, Council President Hill, and I both supporting this. Yes.
A commissioner said last Thursday that the county is going to send a letter to FDOT asking for to move forward with a project to remove the Gregory Street ramp when Interstate 110 ends. Also stated that the city's in support of this and also sending a letter. Can you speak about the letter and why it's important?
We are. Again, I think the Gregory Street, those of you who are familiar, there is a Gregory Street off-ramp off the interstate. It is utilized by probably 10 people a day. It is very little impact. Nobody uses it, yet it bifurcates two properties that are owned by and utilized by the county in the Bay Center. My time spent as a commissioner, I did a lot, and we looked at one time at that point it terminating it. I was very supportive of that. I have no idea what at this particular moment the county is looking to do one way or the other, but I do know having the ability to bring both the east parcel and the west parcel together at the Bay Center is going to be good for the overall Bay Center, whatever happens, which is good for the city of Pensacola. And I think anything that can be done and improvements that can be made are exciting, and certainly support those in any way we can. It's a good facility. It's an important facility to the entire city and the entire Northwest Florida. Certainly we see right now we have the Sun Belt Conference going on there, things that we would not be able to have if we did not have it. So I certainly support them in that endeavor. And I think we did do some things, we just never ended up officially closing it. So when I was a commissioner, so I'm totally supportive of this, have in the past. Like I said, it's going to affect 10 people that can figure out another way that isn't that difficult. They could just go to Garden. They could do a variety of other things. They can get there. So I think this will have very minimal impact to the citizens, but have an incredible opportunity for Escambia County and the Bay Center, and I wholeheartedly support it.
Has the city sent a letter or is planning on it?
We've got one. I've sent the letter before. I think Robert was I talked to Commissioner Bender. He was having a hard time finding it. I told him I would send it again. I think he was going to send me something that they had the correct wording, and I told him I would sign it and send it back. So absolutely supportive of it. Jeremy.
We talked a bit ago about getting out and have staff in place who are ready to get to work on affordable housing solutions. Can you specify, and I guess part B of that question is, did you say any more this week about the Baptist Hospital stuff?
I cannot say any more at this particular time about Baptist Hospital. I do know they've been meeting. I know they met with Councilman Wiggins, who also has been very much his desire for us is to be very active in trying to do affordable housing, and he was very excited by what was presented to him. I think they're still working through a couple of things. My discussions with Jenny Grove is that they were hoping maybe in April to be able to get out there a little bit more what they're looking to do. But I think it has the potential to be very important. Even if that happens, and it will be incredibly good in a lot of different ways at addressing some different parts of affordable housing, we have other parts that we definitely need to address, and we can do that now. We don't have to wait. One of those things is what we've been looking at is certainly those sheeted lots. I think you saw a presentation by Habitat for Humanity about some things. They came and met with us the other day. We are looking to identify a handful of lots for them and a handful of lots for ourselves. We have up in my office, I have a big map with a bunch of lots on it, most of which are either in the east side neighborhood or on the west side area. And they are in our either east side CRA, west side CRA, but they are both. We have a number of lots that we could put housing on, and we think it's going to be important to do that. Certainly, we would love to see Habitat put some things on there. I think the challenges that were experienced with Habitat were, and we had this frank discussion with them were with the style of home that they had before. But I think what they have created now, they have an incredible new designs that actually match what our code is and are workable and still affordable to build. So we're excited about those codes and looking forward to getting those designs signed off on. We also, from our standpoint, I think this all happened right before COVID. There were several Civicons. People came down. I think it was Mr. Dover, Dr. Dover or whatever, came to speak about things. And one of the things he said was, you need to make it as risk averse for people to come in and want to do. In other words, if you had plans in place that you knew worked, so we're potentially looking at some of these things and getting our own plans that match what we have, but they'll also know exactly then what the materials are needed to buy to get it. It takes the risk out of it, and then working with builders to actually build those. There's a sort of a second component to working with those builders. We would like them to also kind of become apprenticeships opportunities for individuals to learn job skills. So again, it's not just as much about what we feel like putting housing product, while that is incredibly important. We also think if we can give people more skills in the building and construction trades, we will eventually encourage more supply, which will also in turn bring down prices. So we think all of these things are important. And to me, we're going to be focused in multifamily, but we're also going to be focused in single family detached residential. Both of those things are going to be important going forward, and we've got to find ways to do them. So I'm excited by what can come out of it with Baptist Hospital when they're ready to share. I think which should happen probably in April. I think they have some really good things. They want to make sure that everybody, sort of thinks that this is workable, and if it's workable, then I think they're gonna look to make an announcement on it. So I think that will be a part of it. But regardless of what they do, we're out there also focusing on what we need to do, and we have some pretty good ideas in partnership, using outside individuals like a Habitat for Humanity, but also doing some of our own things and building some of our own relationships. And like I said before, it's not just about the housing, it's about getting the skills as well. So we think it'll be a twofold. We're actually looking at some things that are going to be, I think are just going to be things we've never done in the past. It doesn't mean whether they're right or wrong. It seems we are interested in finding new opportunities, even if they've never been tried here before. Yes?
Going back to the COVID dashboard, is there any concerns there kind of doing away with it?
No, I mean, we've done that before. At this point, it's not worth finding out whether there are 30 people in the hospital or 20 people in the hospital. It is what it is. I mean, the hospitals don't feel like, they probably feel like they can get to 100 without having, a significant impact on them and what they have. So from that standpoint, I think the hospitals are perfectly happy with that. They're at a point where they all feel comfortable at this point. We all are cautiously looking at what may happen and what trends, but if something else comes up, just like we did this past time, just like we did the time before, this will be the third time we've stopped it and been able to bring it back. And we did that with Delta, we did that with Omicron. If we have another one, we'll bring it back and we'll focus on it at that point. But I get back to where we were in September of 2020, and there was a lot of criticism. I said, "Hey, we're going to go through these periods of ups and downs, and we got to keep ourselves vigilant on the ups, and on the downs we can kind of let ourselves." And everybody was like, "Oh, you're crazy," and I said, "Well, that's what's going to happen." And sure enough, that's kind of what is bared out, and I think that's the way we're going to manage it. But I think we're getting better at how we manage COVID, even through the most significant challenges of it. It's not going away. We hope people will continue to stay with their vaccines and their boosters. But again, from that standpoint, I think we've learned how to manage it so much more effectively. It's not as concerning, certainly, either to the medical people or local government at this particular time. It's when you have something you've never done before, that's when it's much more concerning to us. And I think now that we've seen it, we've experienced it, we know what happens as we go through it, we know what we can do, we know what we can't do. I think we've become much more effective at managing with it, and it's going to continue to be out there. But I feel very confident with the team we have, and I feel very confident in our hospitals.
If I may.
Yeah.
staying with this, there's been some national stories about hospitals having some supply shortages with COVID supplies and non-COVID supplies. Is that anything you've heard from our area hospitals?
I have not heard that from any of our area hospitals, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think we're experiencing that everywhere, whether it's construction, whether it's in hospitals. I think we're all experiencing supply side issues. So this is nothing new. I think COVID. I think challenges with stuff in Russia and Ukraine. I mean, all these things are going to disrupt international supplies. So I think from that standpoint, the more we can look at doing things locally, the more we can look at doing things in the United States, I think the better we will be at tackling our supply chain issues. So when we actually can touch places that we need to get the supply, it makes it easier for us to get. And so I hope that we'll be successful in doing that, not just certainly in hospitals, but not just hospitals, all of our other fields as well, that where we're experiencing challenges at this particular time. Yes, John.
Mayor, is the city still part of the opioid lawsuit class action?
We are.
Can you give us an update on where that stands? The federal judge last week approved the omnibus settlement with Purdue Pharma. Does that mean
we are working on that? We're trying to figure out what that is going to entail for us. And again, we're going to have to set up an overall plan with the county to make that happen. That's a part of the agreement. There is some funding for us, but most of the funding goes into the large part of the funding goes into sort of a plan that's overall city and county. The part of it is too, the county will get more money if they involve the city than if they don't, because of where we kind of fit in, our sort of where we are. They have to get like a 50% buy-in from cities in their with the population size, and basically with really being, I mean, Century's there, but such a small portion. For that to be, the over the majority of people that live in the city residents, that's basically the City of Pensacola. So we know we will be working with them. They've been very good for us to work with. We've worked with them in our legal team right now. We haven't really drafted plans at this particular time. I know I've reached out and talked with Allison Rogers over at the county when this was going on. I mean, we've talked about it. We haven't set it up. We need to. I did have a good discussion last week, though, with Wes Marino and Chairman Barash, and I think we are going to be looking to meet with them probably sometime in the spring. So I think that probably will be one of the topics we discuss, is also what are we going to do, how are we going to get a plan overall that helps deal with the challenges we've had with opiates, because it has been a challenge. It's been significant. I mean, I've talked with Chief about it. We brought on the Narcan that we now put in there with our officers and a variety of other things. It's, I talked to Chief. He says it's challenging out there. So, for us to come up with a way that has a way to fund some of the things that we're already doing. I mean, we didn't wait for the funding. We already went and did the supplies. We felt like the need was there, but now to know that the funding's coming back to help us with these things, that's a good thing. So we'll come up with a plan with the county. It's kind of one of those things we've been waiting to figure out whether it's actually going to happen. I mean, I think we all knew it was going to happen. The question was the finalize and what it looks like and how much funding, and then kind of come to us to develop our plan. And that's kind of where we are at this particular time.
Who is the outside counsel on the city's behalf?
On the city's behalf, it's Levin Papantonio. So they are representing us. I believe they're also representing the county. So it kind of worked that we had the same representation from outside counsel. They've given us presentations before. Shade mean, obviously, when it's legal, we don't want to discuss what our strategy. I don't want to get into the legal part of it, but I can tell you that there is a plan that when this all gets done, that we'll have to come up with a plan that works city and county together, and that's where most of the funding that's going to be coming to us will go into that plan. Jim, you've been quiet. Everybody's been asking questions.
Jeremy asked my question, but I'll follow up on that. Is on the affordable housing issue, you mentioned the hearing that's happening next week. Is there anything new for what you are asking for the 3D block development grant as far as addressing affordable housing?
I don't know specifically on what's in the community block grant. I think it's going to be doing a lot of the things we currently have been doing about assisting with homes. I know I've gotten a lot of questions from people about home repairs, things that we have that we could do that on. I think continuing to utilize it in that way to help people stay in their home so they can stay there. That's a part of what we want to do. If we have older homes where we have older individuals who are not able to maintain it as much as they could before, we have the ability through the block grant to have some of those restoration grants. We can work through that. But again, we can get specifics. We can talk to Marcy. I see both David and Casey. We can get you any specifics. But I tend to think it's going to be continuing to do the same that we've done there. I think what we want to do with the new ideas we've got are coming forward with a different source and different ideas. But I think all of it's going to be a part of it together. So we'll see what we can do. And there's no doubt that having these block grants allows us to do a lot. I mean, that's one of our biggest tools, trying to keep housing stock from either falling down and becoming dilapidated and still being able to be in use. This is critical to keep people from becoming homeless. So we're going to continue to keep doing that. But, all right, no more questions? All right, thank you very much. I will miss y'all next week, but I will look forward to seeing you the following week on the 21st. Thank you very much.